We're coming to you from the Pub Laszlo Sport Arena here in Budapest, live on PDC TV and live on Arena 4. Time for more second round action. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome on stage from Scotland. He made it to the last 16 of this year's UK Open. It's Alan Soutar. His opponent from Northern Ireland with 7 PDC titles to his name, a former World Grand Prix finalist. It's the history maker, Brendan Dolan! Please also show your appreciation for our referee for the next 2 matches this afternoon. It's the one and only Kirkulator, Mr. Kirk Bevins.
Well, a win already today for former European champion Rob Cross and Louis Williams, a man who we are, contractually obliged to use Phil Taylor's oft-used phrase, a cracking little player. Seen off Krzysztof Ratajski, the first seeded player to be knocked out of the Hungarian darts trophy. Could Brendan Dolan join him? Because Alan Soutar, his opponent, is not only very dangerous, but looked completely at home on stage here in Budapest last night when he beat his good pal, Josef Ruchka, one of the host nation qualifiers, for the loss of only 1 leg, averaging 97.4 in the process. Something like that might be enough to see off the history maker, but it might not, because Brendan Dolan's renaissance just continues. Recent months have seen Brendan Dolan be a winner again, more than once on the PDC Tour. He is playing some magnificent darts. You could argue that nobody got closer to beating Gerwyn Price at Ali Pali than that man right there, the Northern Irishman, Brendan Dolan. It'll be an interesting game, this one. He is not the slow, methodical, ploddy, some would say boring player of yesteryear. This is the history maker version 2.0. He's an excitement machine. So's the man sat next to me, Colin George.
First leg is Brendan to throw first. Game on.
I 100% agree with you, Dan. Brendan's not that slow. He sets himself and off he goes. Tough game here for Alan Soutar, but he did put in a good performance yesterday.
140.
The new speeded up Brendan. He's playing some brilliant stuff, I have to say. He is universally adored
60
by the players on the tour, and I don't think anybody begrudges him success. I tell you what do you make of the new dart shirt? I like that.
No. 96.
You're not having that, Cole. It's better than that sort of beige one with a big clock that he was wearing for some time, and it's certainly better than his Christmas ones that he'd occasionally crack out at Ali Pali.
I was probably just one of the boring ones on the circuit. I had a black, navy blue, the odd white one, just had the Jaws blood dripping on the back, but that was it.
If you wore a shirt at all, Cole.
Oh, do you know what? I wonder when that was going to come out. Yeah.
He's left 170 after 3 visits to the board, Brendan Dolan. He doesn't have to take it out, but he's a showman.
100.
Might go for this.
Brendan, you're 170.
I think he will go for it. First leg. It's funny, over the years, you know, with Brendan,
98.
he used to use these big fat darts. And he's trimmed them down. He's got used to him. It's a 24-gram windmill dart. Suits also uses a 24-gram mission dart.
Brendan, you require
So they look
72.
so much different. Alan's look a little bit chunkier, whereas Brendan's looked...
Yeah, little needles,
Yeah,
aren't they, these?
yeah.
Particularly with the thin little flights.
Yeah, on the first leg,
So
Brendan
good
Dolan.
with them. I remember when
Second
he
leg,
switched to
Alan
this
through
equipment,
first. Game on.
and he said, I'm looking around, I realise I need to do something, I need to improve if I'm going to stay on the... And to be honest, for a good year or so,
60.
he wasn't getting results, he was sliding down the rankings.
Yeah, his form dipped massively, didn't it?
But it is magnificent and a lesson to every other player on the tour that
60.
things can happen. We were talking at great length yesterday about Adrian Lewis and how he appears to be sliding. He is sliding, there's no two ways about it. He hasn't won a title for years now. But Adrian can look at somebody like Brendan and go, well, if he can have 5 years without winning a title and then all of a sudden be playing better than ever, then why can't I?
Yeah, yeah. He's always been a great competitor.
59.
I've known him a number of years now when we used to go and play in a tournament called the West Tyrone Open in a place called... Someone's going to pull me on this. Fintona,
95.
whatever we want to call it, in the north of Ireland. And I first got to meet Brendan then, and he was... You could see there was potential then. And... You know, he's been a World Grand Prix runner-up.
140.
For anybody just tuning into the darting world, he's actually called the history maker because he was the first player to hit the perfect 9-dart leg in the double start situation.
59.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've seen 2 double start 9-darters hit in the same match at the World Grand Prix, which is something I genuinely never thought.
140.
There was a long period when people didn't think you would ever see a 9-darter at the World Grand Prix.
Yeah. Yeah.
57.
Suits very much
Brendan, you
second
require
best in this contest
102.
at the moment. Brendan Dolan, a chance to break the throw and open up 2-leg advantage. One place.
70.
If he'd hit the single one there, he could still go out. If it had fallen out the board, it wouldn't have done him any favours, but the treble one... Oof.
Joe, I was just about to say, Dan, I feel as though he needs to...
94.
To stay
Brendan,
in
you require
touch.
32.
You know, Alan, compared to yesterday, he's only averaging 82.5. Brendan's over the 100 mark already.
Games
he's
on the
got
second
two
leg,
leads.
Brendan Dolan.
What we saw yesterday,
Third
Alan
leg,
Soutar
Brendan
was
through first.
striding
Game on.
around on stage, big smirk on his face, playing up to the crowd. He was doing exactly what he wanted when he wanted from the very first dart of that game with Joseph Ruchka. Here, he's being put under the cosh early on, and it is a very different demeanour
86.
the firefighter from Scotland's got.
Yeah. He's got all the experience in the world. He's a former Scottish international with Suits. So he knows he can play better. You know, and he is someone that can rise to the occasion.
99.
But with someone like Brendan, he can't let him get a too big a lead. Because Brendan's like a machine. He will just keep lobbing along and, you know, give him a chance. He will keep hitting it.
59.
Well, I could only find one previous meeting between the pair of them in the records. Obviously, Suits has been playing WDF stuff for years. He's been ducking in and out. He'd go to the Lakeside qualifiers every year and he'd play the odd tournament here and there. But with work and family and all that stuff, he didn't really commit to travelling the world and playing the full tour in the WDF system. And Brendan's been a long time PDC stalwart. So they've only met once. Brendan beat him in March when it's 6-4. Good game, actually. Both average mid-90s.
99.
Yeah, I spoke to Alan Soutar at length a few times with the podcast and whatever. And it's, as much as he loves his darts, and he does love his darts, you don't become an international for your country. If you're not very good at it. And he's got a youth system going up as well around the Perth area.
Yep.
but he is committed as an
140.
essential worker, shall we say.
Brendan Uruguay,
Very essential
156.
worker, a firefighter, so he hasn't been able to make those commitments over the years. He's someone that could quite possibly have to put his life on the line somewhere.
60.
So darts has
Brendan
always
Uruguay,
been a secondary.
67.
But over this past year or so, since he's got a tour card and whatever, we've noticed that he's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, he is. He certainly is.
63.
His first 2 darts at double.
Brendan Uruguay,
In this one.
96.
And Dolan is on a 2-darter. It's just for a hold of throw, but it would be for a 3-0 lead, and the scoreboard pressure really will ramp up if that's the case. Double 8. Oh,
And for the
Brendan
third
Dolan.
leg,
Look
Brendan
at
Dolan.
that!
Fourth leg is Alan to throw first. Game on.
What we call a proper hold of throw.
Ah.
Yeah, that was huge there for Brendan, and I think that's why he gave it a bit of a big in there. He
Don't often see that from
no,
Brendan,
you
do
don't.
you?
No.
Occasionally you get the
45.
old helicopter finger. He
Yeah.
does a bit of pointing, but most of the
Yeah.
time he just sort of swaggers about at his own pace up there. You don't see a bit of aggression from Brendan Dolan very often.
Do you know what?
140.
Looking at that, Dan, I don't know about you, how you feel on that. I think that's a really big respectful thing, because that's how much he possibly respects Alan Soutar, and he knows how a dangerous player he is. That he
59.
was pleased to see Alan miss those 2 darts at the double and clean it up to take the leg and have a 3-0 lead.
Well, just to go over again for you guys, it's the
100.
European Championship is the big tournament that Euro Tours count towards in terms of qualifying. Now, we've only got 2 this year, and they are the sole qualifying criteria. If you are a seeded player, you get £2,000 for being in the second round of the tournament. You enter
100.
the second round if you're a seeded player. Now, if you don't win your match, yes, you get the £2,000. You can have the money, go and buy yourself something nice. But it doesn't go on any of your rankings. So that wouldn't help you qualify to the European Championship. So even though
100.
Brendan Dolan's the 13th seed here, and he's going to be one of the seeds in Gibraltar, were he to lose this game, and then lose to, I mean, you could get anybody. You could get a world champion, you could get somebody averaging over 10 in your first game in
Brendan
Gibraltar.
Uruguay,
You
161.
don't get any ranking money. You're not going to the European Championship. And with the way that Brendan Dolan is playing over the last year or 2, he wants to be in every big TV tournament because he'll fancy his chances of going deep and maybe getting that first name.
83.
He's got 8 PDC titles to his name, Brendan Dolan.
Yep.
That's more than the vast majority of people who've ever played PDC darts.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time when Brendan dropped down the rankings by
100.
quite a
Brendan
distance.
Uruguay,
And
78.
he's back up now to number 28 in the world and getting into the majors again. And that's where you earn the big money for your ranking.
Yeah, you make those big leaps up the rankings, and Brendan Dolan
54.
could have been taking
Alan
a big
Uruguay,
step towards the final day.
152.
But Alan Soutar, he's had 5 visits to the board in his own throw. He's still looking at a massive combo finish with 2 trebles, and it's just too much for him.
42. Brendan Uruguay, 24.
Compared to yesterday's performance, I mean, he's 16 points down on his performance yesterday, but he's up against a seasoned pro in Brendan.
And on the fourth leg,
Like you said,
Brendan
Dan,
Dolan.
You're not going to get it all your own
Fifth leg
way.
is Brendan to throw first. Game on.
Well, Alan Soutar's been around the block a few times. He knows he's got to produce something right now, because Brendan's not playing his best, but he is in charge of this game.
He'll be standing there,
140.
you know, Soutar saying, come on, I know I'm better than this. I can't put a performance in like yesterday and then be playing like this today. And that would have really hurt
41.
when he saw those darts go straight into the treble 20. And Brendan's throw as well kicks off at 140 and Soutar's gone in with 41. Not enough, I'm afraid.
59.
Well, this is where I mean, there's so many frustrations. Alan Soutar, he played lovely stuff yesterday. His darts were almost as dazzling as his trousers. But to come out here today, nothing's going right for him.
120.
Nothing is going right for him.
I actually like the trousers. Reminds me of my childhood and Rupert Bear.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
That was my go-to when I was a 5-6-year-old.
94.
So if I was having a little hissy fit, my mum couldn't wait for Rupert Bear come on. I'm sorry, Suits. I've had to say that. I'm really sorry that.
I wish I'd known, just in case you throw any Divas drops this weekend.
96.
Next year or two, we'll bring a little Rupert Bear just to placate you if you're having a tantrum.
Yeah.
I've got one for Nicholson. I've a great glass in case of emergency.
140.
CM Punk doll to play with.
Oh, right, okay.
Brendan Dolan leaves himself a 2-darter. Alan Soutar barely halfway down from 501. And this is turning into an absolute rout here.
60.
Yeah.
Not what I expected,
68.
Colin, to be honest. I thought Brendan would be the favourite, but I thought he'd be pushed more than this.
I thought, you know, as we sat down to commentate on this game, I expected this to be a pretty tight affair. You know, if Brendan does go on to win this, dare I say it, by a 6-0 scoreline, you know, Suits will be very disappointed in his performance.
180.
But, you know, some days
Brendan,
you
you're
do have a
at
bad day at the
32.
office. And so it doesn't make you a bad player overnight, it's just a bad day.
Games on the 5th leg, Brendan Dolan.
Well,
6th leg is Alan to
that's
throw
what
first.
Rod Harrington
Game
would call
on.
a wasted 180. Not even a flicker of a celebration from Suits because he piled in the 180. Dolan was already sat on a double and it just mattered absolutely nothing in the end.
100.
But you know, it's a few more quid as well onto Suits ranking. Got your tour card this year.
140.
You know, he's having a good time with it this year, really. I mean, he's not having a good time with it at the minute, but you know, he got to the last 16 in the UK Open. First big event within the PDC. He's shown people out there
140.
what he is capable of. Unfortunately, he's not quite doing it at this moment in time. But sure, listen, Brendan can't stop pressing, Dan, because Alan can
60.
just relax now. Think, well, I'm 5-0 down, and sometimes you relax that much that you start pinning everything.
Can you remember the last time you lost a game from 5-0 up in a race to 6 goal?
How long have you got?
or the last time you won one?
91.
No. You're probably going to tell me different.
No, I don't. No, literally, it was a genuine question. I wish I had that sort of information at my fingertips.
I honestly can't.
60.
Best comeback that you've
Alan
ever
Uruguay,
produced? Most high profile, one that sticks in your memory.
The one comeback that I was proud of myself, I didn't actually win the game still, was I was
94.
5-0 down at one time with Dennis Priestley. And I did get it back to 5-4. And then I sort of like...
And then you lost.
I wilted a little bit and lost the next set, 6-4. But I was very happy with that because
Alan Uruguay,
Dennis is not only a
76.
gentleman, he's a 2-time world champion, and he was a very, very, very tough competitor to play against. I don't know whether he felt sorry for me a little bit, but when I started coming back, all of a sudden he put me to the
Second
sword
leg is
again.
Brendan to throw first.
Alan Soutar makes a little step back into this game, and finally he has something to have a bit of fun about with the crowd. He was doing that a lot yesterday. It'll feel
100.
significantly different today. Winner of this one faces either Daryl Gurney, who was pretty impressive last night, or Michael Van Gerwen. Now, what a
45.
contest that could be later on tonight. The Dutch #1 versus the Northern Ireland #1. Although, in terms of form, maybe Brendan Dolan you might consider
140.
the leading player from Northern Ireland right now. Those two will be pairing up for the Northern Irish at the World Cup of Darts, which gets underway in Jena in just a matter of days' time.
140.
If Daryl can put in the performance like he did last night, they could be, and he's back to that sort of form, Dan, they could be a very, very...
Certainly could. Well, it could be an all-Northern
60.
Irish clash in the last 16, because Michael Van Gerwen, let's be brutally honest, is not the force that he was. Still an incredible player, but he's not somebody you just assume is going to win every game he plays.
140.
The crowd trying to do their bit and get Suits back into this contest. Slowly filling up the hall here at the Pat Laszlo Arena. And we'll continue to get busier as the day goes on.
95.
Brendan's just got to stay a little bit sharp here, because if Soutar was to take this leg, it's not only a break of throw, but then he holds his throws, all of a sudden 5-0 becomes 5-4.
140. Brendan Uruguay,
And then
106.
you're back involved into a bit of a dogfight again.
Doesn't need to panic just yet. In fact, he could be striding off stage in a moment. Match start incoming for Brendan Dolan. Double 16, suits nods his head
Game
because
shot.
he knew it
And
was
the
coming.
match,
And the
Brendan
history
Dolan.
maker spreads his arms wide after completing a 6-1 no-nonsense victory. Perhaps be a little surprised that he didn't have to find another gear or two. Brendan Dolan snuffing out the Soutar comeback before it even really got going. Alan Soutar so good yesterday, a disappointment today. £2,000 on his Euro Tour Order of Merit. Is that going to be enough to reach the European Championship for the first time? I'm not sure it's going to be. But it is not done and dusted just yet. Stay with us. In a few moments' time, it'll be game 4 of the afternoon session. Willie O'Connor, our first chance to see the Irishman this weekend, got a bye for yesterday's action. He takes on England's #1, the machine Jake Way.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation one more time for your honorary Hungarian Alan Soutar. And into the third round, it's the history maker, Brendan Dolan. Brendan, a 6-1 win against Alan Soutar. You'll take that any day of the week. But Alan didn't play as well as we know he can.
No, he definitely didn't get out of the blocks. He started to play in the last leg and a half, 2 legs. You know, possibly my experience just got me out of the blocks. I wasn't good, but I was steady. And just early on in the game, I needed to be steady, and that's what was good enough to win this game. But, you know, I think we've played it a couple of times now, and Alan hasn't played well. I don't think I've played my best either. We're expecting more of each other. We kind of are friendly, and that doesn't help because he's a nice fella. And so you just don't get that ruthless streak in you. And so I didn't play well, and Alan didn't play well. But I was steady enough to win this game, and I'm happy, and on to the next round.
I mean, I know that the crowd were pretty much behind Alan there, but it must have been brilliant for you as well to play in front of all these Hungarian fans.
No, I thought it was great, actually. A live audience. You know, we have so missed it. And, you know, they make the atmosphere. They make the tension in the game. They add so much to our game of darts. It is great to have them back, you know, and obviously, please God, there'll be more here for the rest of the weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for the history maker, Brendan Dolan.